All right, the Reds, Tuesday's talking Reds. We're outside again in Liverpool. It's a glorious day, blue skies, sunshine, all the things you want. I'm going to start off today's show with having a little chat about the safe standing. It was obviously the debate in Parliament yesterday. I sat and watched it all on Parliament TV, so you don't have to. You've probably heard by now that Tracy Crouch, the Sports Minister, has announced that there will be a review of all evidence around standing at football matches. Plus they want to collate some new data. What that seems to be is, she was suggesting that there isn't much data around injuries in the current situation of standing in seating areas, basically, because some of the arguments that came against it were it's fine as it is, and any match goer will tell you, well, it's not really, because if you're standing in some big steep stand with sort of seats at this height, shin height, well, you'd end up wrecking your shins, and you know the potential for something a lot worse is clearly there. So they're going to collect the data. That's going to be by an independent body, she said, and it will be by the end of the year. But one of the things I would say about the whole thing is that it was all so clear that the debate went the way it went because of football supporters and their influence, and I think a lot of credit has to go to Football Supporters Federation, to Spirit of Shankly, to supporters trusts up and down the land, because what they've done is, you know, it's easy to just go to the match and forget about it, but what these have done is organised, got together, lobbied MPs, arranged information, made videos, made podcasts, got information out there to various people, educated the MPs, and a lot of the MPs, when they were talking about it, they said, I've changed my mind having spoken to football fans. I realise now the potential for safe standing at football grounds. And it was heartening for me to see, because I think, you know, football fans are having a say in the governance of football more and more. I mean, you can be cynical about this, or you can get off your arse and do something about it. And we've seen it with ticket prices as well. The cap on the prices of away tickets, for example, in the Premier League came about after supporter pressure. So it just shows you that, you know, if we organise and we talk about it and we do something about it, we can make things happen. It's a step in the right direction, what happened yesterday. So a big well done to everyone who took part in that, who campaigned for it. And hopefully that campaign will now continue, and it will result in standing sections being allowed in the top two divisions in England and Wales. As it stands, you know, we're still stuck with the status quo, but as I say, big step in the right direction. So there you go. You can read up on it. You can still watch that parliamentary debate if you want, because Parliament TV allows you to go back and watch debates. What you will see there, as I say, is a lot of MPs who were well informed about it. There wasn't too many mad views, to be honest. I expected there might be. There was one MP who started going on about fans firing pyro at each other in a match in Italy. I've absolutely no idea what the relevance of that was, mate. He also started going on about racism at Lazio. Again, I've absolutely no idea what the relevance of that was.
Less racist if you sit down, is that what you're saying?
Exactly, mate. I just think it felt like a little bit of grandstanding from that fella. I don't know who he was, but he was talking out of his arse. A couple of the Merseyside MPs obviously emphasised that the Hillsborough Family Support Group stance officially from the top, from the leadership, if you like, of that group, remains against the idea of standing. And then there was a little bit of talk around that they feel they can't come out and say what they really think at the moment because of the live Hillsborough trials and because of, you know, rules around contempt of court, sub judice and that sort of thing. Again, we'll see on that and we'll see where that goes, but what I would say is that there's been plenty of opportunity before trials were live to talk about it, and I didn't hear anyone talking about it. But anyway, we'll see what happened. I respect their views. I understand why they hold them, but equally there's a big push now for standing sections in the top two divisions because it's safer than what we've currently got. But anyway, we've talked about that a lot.
Do you want to just, on the injury thing, what we should do is just take pictures of our legs after any of the big games where you're standing, because it is mad. Like, you're completely bruised. There's days where you're limping in, and it's not that you notice someone like at the time, it's just through the celebrations, knocking off the back of the seats, falling. And like, fans talk about the fall, what was the fall like whenever that goal happened, but like really that is completely unsafe, isn't it? Like some of the Champions League nights and the falls on like the stairs of 306 and all around the Kop were, you know, completely they weren't safe. And if you had safe standing, you'd be able to stand in with your mates you'd have that blockage in front of you, and there wouldn't be that fall. So that safety aspect's a massive part of it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and what Tracy Crouch was talking about there is no data on that. Well, no one's collecting that data. There isn't a reporting thing. There isn't a culture of going to a steward and saying, I've just fell over 3 rows there and I've done this to my leg. It's more of like what we have got right now is it's just taken as a little bit of a laugh. It's a little bit of, oh well, that's what happens when you go in the cop, or that's what happens when you go in this stand, or that's what happens when you go away. And the big thing that come across in the debate as well is there's sort of the range of people that want this to happen. I mean, the petition that they were reacting to was put together by a teenager, but then you've got older fans who, and I've mentioned this before, there's a gentleman by me in the cop who can't stand for 90 minutes, but if everyone else does, he's forced into doing that. But he's having to sit down, he's having to have a break, he's having to have times during the match where he literally can't see. And if 12,000, 13,000 people stand, there's not a lot the stewards can do about it either. So, you just got an unsatisfactory current situation, and it does feel to me that the common sense approach now is to move towards having a section in each ground. What Labour talked about yesterday is that would be capped in any ground in England and Wales for now, at least at 7,500. But that's for another time, because first of all, as I say, the government say they're going to collate the evidence, and they're going to do that by the end of the year. So I'm sure the pressure will be kept up. I'm sure we'll keep on talking about it. But, maybe Craig's right that if people are getting injured, if people do see incidents in the current situation, it wouldn't help the cause. It would help the cause if you talked about it, if you documented it, if you took videos of it, if you posted it on social media, if you sent it to your MP. Because the head of steam that is currently there, it needs to be maintained and it needs to keep going. And we'll do a podcast on this week and go into a little bit further detail on it. But yeah, I just wanted to give you some detail on that if you missed the debate yesterday, because probably most of you were watching the World Cup while I wasn't. I was doing that for you. I'm all right, aren't I? But you watched the World Cup.
I wasn't doing that for you. I was just watching the World Cup.
You're watching the World Cup for, and people might have missed that. But there's a huge debate based on yesterday's games, again on VAR. I just wondered what you made of it. You obviously saw it. It seemed to sort of help certain incidents in the games yesterday, and then people are saying it hindered others. But what I took from it, I only saw the highlights of the games, but it was ultimately the one that everyone's talking about is where the referee looks back at it and still gives a penalty when it's a very harsh penalty. So that's nothing to do with watching a replay or 6 or 7 people sat in full kits in a weird little room. That's to just do with the referee being incompetent.
Yeah, I think it brings it down to the fact that it is still subjective, and whether he sees it on the screen or whether he makes a decision based on what he's seen in real life, it's still going to come down to a subjective opinion of the referee. And I think that's the first thing to say. It was a bit of a farce, and I didn't watch the Spain game. I watched the Portugal game, and it was a bit of a farce, and it felt like the referee had lost control in that. He calls for VAR once, then the next time something happens with the opposition team are then saying, well, look at VAR because you looked at it for them last time. So then he's looking at it for that, and then you've got the foul by Ronaldo that he goes and looks at, and it just became this. It was a snowball effect of just VAR after VAR, and I think that's the problem. I think that's something that comes through experience. That's something that by the time the next World Cup comes around, we're not talking about any of these problems because they've been doing it for that long and so on. But it just worried me really, and we've talked in the past about the only game that we've been to that VAR has been in action was the Liverpool West Brom game, and that was a farce. But looking at the game last night, if that's one, I'm watching that on TV in my living room, and I'm still thinking, what's going on here? This is just it's a mess.
I think that's a big point that for me, in that if you watch it on telly, and most people are watching the World Cup on telly, then you've got the commentators, you've got replays that they're showing you on the telly as well. They can slow it down and all the rest of it. I think the experience in the ground while all that is happening isn't great, and there isn't any communication. The referee's not mic'd up like he is in other sports. There isn't a big TV screen in the ground showing you what's going on or anything like that. All you've got is a referee running over to a little monitor looking like he's ordering a McDonald's, and you're just waiting around. You don't know what's going on, and I think it's that confusion and that sort of delay which takes a little bit of the spontaneity out of football, which I didn't enjoy as being a fan in the ground. But to me now, the direction of travel is that it's happening, and there's not a lot we can do about it. It'll probably keep evolving and keep getting better. They need to cut down the time, obviously, between deciding, to look at videos, or just, the referee taking a second look at it or whatever. That needs to be quickened somehow for me.
Like last night, if you look at last night, the referee kept running to the TV. Now I know that the final decision comes down to the ref and it'll be on his head. But if you've got 8 people dressed up in referee kits in a VAR studio, and and if they're saying into his ear, "Oh, I think this is a penalty," well, there's 8 of you, so make a decision and then just put it in his ear. It's a penalty. Rather than say,
he doesn't need to do that, does he?
Because I think last night
they should just say it's a penalty, and he should just make the sign that the TV ref, or whatever you want to call it, VAR, has given it.
Yeah.
Not I need to go and have another look. 8 fellas or 8 girls or whatever it is in that mad room
should be able to make a decision.
They should make, and they've got all the replays and they've seen it, and so if they just go, it's a pen or it's offside or whatever, just tell him that, and then he can just make the signal and say, I'm giving it. So I'm going to go and have a look and all this. And
that was what's pissing me off last night, was the fact that he was then he was having to run back and forward to this bloody screen. It was taking him like 2 minutes to run to the screen, and then after that, it was, like I said, it was the snowball effect, that whereby the players were then harassing him, saying, well, you look at VAR, because Iran were getting desperate near the end, and so with every decision they'll have been saying to him, well, that's wrong, look at VAR, and putting pressure on him, and I think that's unhealthy, really. So I think this is the first World Cup it's been at, and I think that as it goes on, and as referees use it more and learn how to use it better, and they become, I think it just needs to be fine-tuned, and like you say, it's just something that now it looks as if it's going to happen, and we have to just sort of deal with it and ensure that whenever it's being used, it's the best it can possibly be. But it's the subjective nature of it leaves it that at the end of the day, it is still an opinion. It's the,
we're getting
decisions around one opinion.
The other thing is that we're getting a lot of penalties, aren't we? Way more than you would normally expect, and it's a bit like, do we need all of these penalties? I don't know. I mean, there's swings and roundabouts on that. You could say, well, it means it's cracking down. For instance, all the grappling in the box that, as frustrated as in the past. I guess it's cracking down on that a little bit. So maybe, maybe can benefit a team like Liverpool, who in general have a good side, in general have star quality players, and in general come across, a lot of teams who are going to just be looking to low block, looking to put everyone behind the ball, looking to, defending numbers and all that sort of stuff. So maybe it benefits a team like Liverpool. I mean, we moaned, didn't we, extensively, all of us, that we didn't get many penalties. Penalty pool. If this is kicking round, maybe it helps Liverpool longer term, but I think right now it's obviously a lot of people are struggling to get their head around it and struggling to, any change, people moan about any change, don't they? I'm as guilty as anyone for that.
It did feel at the start of the tournament it was a lot quicker. Like anytime I watched VAR, or anytime I watched any of the earlier games in the first round, I was thinking, God, this is VAR. They've actually got this nailed. And like, apart from the England game where the guy, I think, was it Harry Kane, was just grappled to the floor and nothing happened. So it shows they can still miss things.
There's still inconsistency, isn't there? And there's still debate. There's still human error, and I think there always will be. I mean, as we just said there, the fact that the referee still goes to the screen and still gives the same decision, and most people it seems didn't agree with him. You're still basically going to have the controversies. You're still going to have the talking points in the pub. So maybe that's a good thing, because it gives us something
just
to talk
quicken
about.
That would be my thing. Just in terms of, and I'm thinking about it from it happened at Anfield, is quicken it and don't ruin any celebrations. Don't ruin any celebrations for goals, because that would be heartbreaking.
Well, Big Mo is out of the World Cup now. He got himself a goal. He also missed the sitter.
Do you call him Big Mo, or is you go Weemo?
Weemo? I'm not saying Weemo. Doesn't sound right me saying that, does it? But yeah, he's out of the World Cup. He on his way back. Scored a goal, as I say, missed the sitter as well. There does appear to be more into this thing about he's not particularly happy with the Egyptian FA. A few more reports around that this morning, so we shall see. But as we said yesterday, really, I think it'd be a little bit of a shame if he ends up, for whatever reason, at a fairly young age, and being their best player, not playing for Egypt. So I hope both sides can sort that out, but there seems to be some behaviour around the World Cup and around other incidences with sponsorships and phone companies and all this stuff that, him and his team are not particularly happy about. So
if I'm going to be a little bit crude about it, like, from a Liverpool point of view, if he wasn't playing for Egypt anymore, he'd have a nice little break during the international break.
There is that. If you want to be selfish about it, Craig, you know what I mean? Okay, well, we're just going to have a little middle section now where we speak to cycling Scouser and Andy Rogerson. He's doing something very, very good for Charlie's Chance. He's going to tell you all about it now. We'll be back in a minute with more Off Football Chat. Okay, joined now by Andy Rogerson, also known as Cycling Scouser, with good reason. He's a red Andy and he's after a little bit of help. He's about to embark on what, to me, sounds like quite a mad mission, as someone who's only ever cycled at the most about 20 miles. But Andy, you're used to cycling quite the distances. I mean, first of all, tell us about the one that you've already done and then move on to the one that you are doing this time around.
Okay, so 3 years ago now, I cycled from Shanghai to Liverpool. That one was 10,000 miles, 19 countries and 5 months. And this time I'm going to complete the little round the world journey in my head, and it's Seattle to New York, and that's 3,500 miles.
Wow. Okay, and so tell us why you're doing that, what the cause is that you're doing it for, and how people can help as well.
So, well, it's all for this really. My friend's son's been fighting leukemia for 9 years now, and this foundation was set up in his name, and the charity aims to raise money to help families who are in a similar situation to Charlie's family, financial hardship loans, just advice, funding to go to different countries for treatment.
Okay, and this journey that you're heading off out on, obviously to raise money for this charity, I mean, how do you prepare for something like this?
Well, I don't. It's just basically a case for me of jumping on the bike, getting a plane ticket, landing, building the bike, and hoping I'm going in the right direction. Sometimes I'm not. I have been known to get back on the bike after lunch and head in the wrong direction where I've just come from. But yeah, I do tend to get it right most of the time.
And you were telling me just before we started that, you're literally on your own. You're staying in a tent, you're getting up and doing 8 hours a day cycling. I guess to most people who are watching this, they just think, A, that's mad, and B, just how do you do it? How do you cope with that mentally day after day doing that long of a ride?
It is absolutely exhausting, I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, after 2-3 days, you just want to quit, but there's no greater inspiration for me than Charlie. He's been fighting a harder battle than I'm going to be fighting, and he's been doing it for 9 years, and he's only 12 years old. So every time I want to give up, your mind just clicks to him, and just seeing the pictures or the stories of him that's been going on along the way, and I've got no reason to give up. I've got no excuse.
And you are Cycling Scouser on Twitter. Will people be able to sort of follow your journey, if you like, via Twitter? Are you going to still be getting on social media at night, or having a little rest and telling people your story?
Well, I've got a couple of people here who take care of it for me. Okay. So I've got a drone actually that's going to follow me this time. So we'll have some great footage all across the ride. As long as I'm not too tired to upload it, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it'll be an absolutely amazing story and an amazing adventure, a good cause as well, obviously. If people are watching then and they just think, right, okay, this fella's mad, he deserves a little bit of my money, I want to help this cause, how did he do that? How can they give some money?
Well, first of all, you can follow all the rides on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or just type in Cycling Scouser, it'll come onto there, and the donation link is justgiving.com/Cycling Scouser.
Brilliant. Okay, so if you can help out Andy on his ride, please do. When did you set off, Andy?
Saturday.
Wow, okay. So, I mean, you're going to miss the World Cup then, mate?
Yeah, I know. What a time for us to start playing well. Typical.
Yeah, if you can help Andy, please do, because, as I say, brilliant cause, brilliant thing to do, and not something that your ordinary person can do. So help him out if you can. Throw a donation in and follow Cycling Scouser across social media to hear the story of this mad mission he's setting out on.
Hot football chat there.
Yeah, more hot football chat on its way. But yeah, if you can help Andy out there and you can make a donation, please do. He is at Cycling Scouser on Twitter. It is justgiving.com/Cycling Scouser as well if you want to chip in. He's trying to raise £10,000. I think he's up to about 4,000 right now. So hopefully we can get that target, get that number up. And yeah, he's cycling from Seattle to New York, kipping in tents and stuff. I mean, fair play to him. As I said on that thing there, I think the most I've ever done is about 25 miles, and I was dead off.
He was so laid back. He was in the office just before just doing it. All right, any training? Nah. Which I really liked.
Just on his own as well. I mean, Wow, fair play to him.
Yeah,
You know, people who do stuff like that never cease to amaze me. Okay, on the Anfield Wrap, a couple of shows out there yesterday. The Gutter, which included, I believe, a bit of a disagreement between Neil Atkinson and Ben Johnson on Shaqiri, and a bit of
really good,
bit of winding each other up and that sort of stuff. So that should go down well. You should like that. There's a free show out there as well. Lots of people are asking us to discuss the ticketing situation, whereby members versus season ticket holders, really, and priority around European tickets for the coming season. There seems to have been a little bit of a shift of the goalposts, so the boys get in depth on that on the free show. Done about 15 minutes on it, I believe, on the free show. So that subject has been debated there.
The free show as well. There's a segment where they're talking about Karius, and it's it's sure to be divisive, I would say. Where Gibbo's talking about him coming in pre-season and what it will look like if he plays in the first pre-season friendly, and how the fans in the crowd would react, and whether that would destroy the good feeling at the minute. Just have a listen to it. It's really, really good.
Also today, there's a review out there and a new show. I don't think there's been one of these before. In Their Shoes. And the idea behind this one apparently is that basically everyone who's on is sort of given a club, if you like, and then they discuss what if they were in their shoes, what they'd be doing with them for the new season, where they'd be looking to strengthen and that sort of stuff. So it's a chat around that. Just wants to give another plug as well. Andy there is obviously off to cycle across America. We're not doing any of that. We're going to fly over there. But
can you imagine what we'd look like by the time we wouldn't get there. We'd get there for next year's and then it'd be in Australia.
Well, we're going out there on the 20th of July. We're doing all the pre-season games. We're doing a show around each pre-season game as well. Tickets are on sale now at theanfieldapp.com/tour on tour.
Tour live.
Tour live. Got it wrong. See, good job, you're here. By the way, have you seen the Michigan Stadium?
Is this I've heard about it. I haven't had a look. I think it's a college stadium, like a university stadium, which blows my mind. This the college football and college basketball culture in America intrigues me. The fact that I think it's 109,000 people. The capacity is, which is just that'll be the biggest stadium I've ever been in. And it's a universities. You didn't get that at the uni I went to. I think there was there any seats? There might have been a few seats.
How did you go to? Newcastle?
Northumbria.
Oh, Northumbria. Yeah, they haven't got a 107,000 capacity stadium there. Definitely
I think they might have had 107.
I went to Sheffield and they had some, AstroTurf pitches and that.
They're good, aren't they?
And a sport tour. I mean, it's a red brick uni, Sheffield, as well, so it's got some nice old buildings, but it's definitely not got a stadium of that. No, it's mad, but it's it's all open air, and it's like it's really tight to the pitch, but then obviously just comes out miles. And I can't wait to get involved and get in that, and watch the Reds play, and that'd be boss. I mean, if we fill that out as well, I mean, it's Liverpool against Manchester United in that ground, so you'd expect, there'd be a big interest in that game. And I reckon it'd be boss, that.
I think that what capacity is the new camp? I think that's more. Is that more than the new camp? Yeah. It's gonna be brilliant. So I think
it's potentially the biggest crowd that Liverpool have ever played in, because there was the one in Melbourne which we were lucky enough to go to, and I think that was about 99 to 100,000. That was great as well. They had an active area there which I enjoyed, which we were in, and it's basically like a little cop in the middle of it where everyone was singing, shouting, waving flags around, singing the songs and all that, and it was great, because I think there's some cynicism again there has been from me in the past about going to far-flung destinations to play friendlies in the summer, but I had a great time in Australia, to be fair. I'm looking forward to this American trip and potentially having a great time there, and hopefully meeting a load of Reds out there as well.
I think as well, the tailgating
intrigues
me in a big way. It's a bit different than having a pint in the Stanley before the match, you know what I mean? It sounds as if they've got barbecues coming out of the back of the cars, amazing. And so I'm excited to experience that, and the live shows will be brilliant.
There you go then. That's been Talking Reds. There'll be another one tomorrow. I think it's Mo and Glenn Price, I think, is doing tomorrow's Talking Reds. You lucky people. Up the Reds.